All right, here we go. So this is part 2 of show number 55, right?
Right.
Great Scott. And we just left off right in the middle of viewer comments from part 1. So if you are just seeing this, as we always say, for the first time, just hit stop and go to part 1. And you can check out the viewer comments that led up to this point, as well as I mean, what else? What else do we have there? We had a whole lot of off on one tangent stuff about.
Well, we talked about men playing that women should play or men should play 2 out of 3 sets. But then we discussed that, or that girls should play 3 out of 5 sets.
Yeah, part of the long.
We also discussed Murray not being in the top
in the big four,
in
supposedly.
The big 4, right?
Yeah, I think we discussed Boris Becker and Stefan Edberg. I think
Agassi.
we discussed Agassi. We discussed Sampras.
Serena.
Venus. We discussed Venus women's tennis.
Right.
So check all that out. But I still have a lot, or we still have a lot to talk about. And I'm only on page 3, and I've got to get to, or we have to get to page 8. So I'm going to continue, or we are going to continue directly into viewer comments. And we left off from a comment from a really fun viewer who has some really nice things to say from all different perspectives. I think she was traveling and was in Nigeria at the point of the last comment. Again, as a boy, I used to hear about when my father would go to Nigeria for some medical studies or training thereof. So that kind of was an interesting comment. But she's going to read Kia Sama's latest comment again. I think it had something to do with congratulating us for a good show, which we'd love to hear from. But I'm going to let you read it. Go ahead.
Applause. I think you both did a good job with the topics presented, and again, I appreciate you taking the time to answer them in such a timely manner. Some key points for me: Carla bringing up the issue of families having to pay for the same kind of lessons, etc., for their daughters, only to have them receive less money when they make it into the big leagues. Did not think about that either. The marketing issues was another one. How the WTA gets less attention than the ATP. Had a laugh when you mentioned the names of a current female rising star, though I bet if they were promoted more in the West and given their time to shine, Ostapenko would be a household name in no time. If we could get through Sharapova and Kornikova, etc., with all the headlines they get, well, it did help that they were magazine cover material. Then we see the problem really does stem from the lack of good promotions and selling of the sport. AJ Malfoy brought up some good points about appreciating the big 3 plus or Murray while we have them. Indeed, it is something we might not see in a long time. It really is mind-boggling to think that these 3 have such a chokehold on the Grand Slams with 50 amongst them. Kudos to Murray, Stan, Del Potro for grabbing a few while they could. But honestly, standing ovation? I have no doubt that when they will retire, we'll see more of these next generation folks making noise at last. And predict Thiem might be the first to break through. Might end up replacing Nadal as king of clay if he keeps up his form. As for where I'm from, I'm currently a nomad, laugh out loud. I live in the States, Georgia, but currently transversing this lovely planet of ours and getting to see other countries and what they have to offer. You want me to keep reading on her personal?
Well, the flavor of it is great, and as we always mention, it's
well. Let me skip to that. And she says, "Oh, I believe Carla wondered if European nations have an easier time raising tennis players compared to the States." Well, when you look at the new names popping up in the tennis world, I think it pretty much answers the question. I think tennis falls among the states hardly care. Me thinks the opposite overseas. It is discipline and mentality of their athletes there in general. I mean, could be completely off the mark, but that's just my take on it. I really like to learn how to stop writing essays on your pace. I apologize. Katana's a lovely dog, she says. Yes.
Yeah, so the flavor of this is absolutely wonderful. Furthermore, definitely be safe traveling the globe in which we live. It's not that easy of a place to travel in these days. So be safe as you travel. The comments were great. Loved every minute of them as always. I think she mentioned there about stuff being maybe completely opposite overseas.
Yes.
Even though I don't know factually, Carla and I have spoken on numerous occasions, off camera and on, about doing a video on why is it that we have not seen someone like Sampras or so many before him in terms of American tennis versus those constant players that are coming off of the planet in other locations. So I agree with her here. Obviously, she is thinking correctly, and obviously I think that follows suit with what we have discussed. And I'll make another metaphor. The Belgium soccer team, what made the semifinals of the World Cup? Justine Henin. I think how many Belgian players right now are on the men's and women's side?
Well, you had Kleisters too. Was successful.
Kleisters.
Yeah.
I mean, and so this is just a mere example of what I'm getting at. So I agree with her in that I can't prove it at this point.
Well, I can tell you from living in other countries.
I can't prove it.
I've lived in other countries, and I can tell you that people over there have less distractions. The younger generation has less distractions. They are hungry. They want to live better. They want to do better. They want to be successful. If they fail over there, it's not good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
You've
I
got
do.
a lot of kids or youngsters, example, baseball. I lived in the Dominican Republic. They wanted to get out of there, and their only way of doing it was, well, I'm going to eat this. I'm going to breathe this. I'm going to practice this. Same thing in Costa Rica. Same thing in other countries like Honduras. They play soccer. I mean, those people, they train. That's all they have. They don't have a TV or a smartphone or social media. They can't afford all that stuff, you know. And the parents, when they invest in these kids, they are very strong on their children. That's what you're gonna do.
And I agree with that as well. I mean, when I was a kid, we did not have a television in the home, and I don't know, we'll get into personal stuff. I mean, my father was a physician, but we didn't live like kings. We didn't have a television. He didn't believe in it. No, we did not do much outside of tennis and studying and sitting at the kitchen table. And I think that in of itself was a beautiful thing, and we try to instill that in all 5 of our children. But at the same time, for me on this side of the globe, I'll just use in our area, it seems, because I'm here and I'm around the game a lot. So it seems like when I was a junior, and I'm speaking from my own perspective, my own self, okay? When I was a junior here in this area, tennis was abound. Juniors were everywhere, not saying there's not a lot of them here, but they're in their pockets. They're loaded into private schools, and we've done this video before about recruitment of private schools, taken away from public schools. We've been into all that. I'm not going to go there again, but when I was a kid, there was good players in public schools quite frequently all around me. As I got into, and excuse the wind, but as I got into my 30s and now 40, now you just see a few pockets of that, and unfortunately, I think it's a bad deal. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's coaching. Maybe it's coaching too. Maybe over there, a lot of great coaches are over there, because a lot of what I see in the upcoming juniors is the same type of tennis, actually.
Yeah.
No one has variety in their game. Everybody hits the same stupid shot, the same top spin. They grunt. I mean, it's like, who's teaching them this? I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, we go to tournaments quite often, especially during the high school season. And if we go to, whether it's this town or that town or this state or that state, it doesn't matter what club we go to or what tournament we go to. It's the same loopy forehand moon ball, boom, and then they hit this two-handed boom moon
unless,
ball.
Justin, they have a coach that came from overseas and is teaching at that club, then you see the difference.
Yeah, there's few and far between, but there's a few. But again, and maybe I'm wrong, but when I was that age, if you went to a club and took a random selection of 20 kids at a tournament, and now you went to a tournament and took a random selection of 20 kids, right? Granted, the level difference of the tournament, and snatched them out and put them head to head, I think that the players in the mid 80s and 90s where I was from would destroy them statistically on what you had then and what you had now.
I mean, example, the high school tennis, that we go to with our kids. I laugh because I said, geez, when I played high school tennis, I would destroy these guys without even trying. It's just, I don't know.
So anyway, great comment, and we appreciate that, and much safety and much regards to you in your travels. And hopefully you make it back to Georgia, where I think you are a native from here in the States. I wish you well when you return home. So good luck with that. So the fifth comment came in from a new viewer, and that viewer was Hisham, Hicham, Isham, Icham. Is that right?
Yeah, interesting name.
Isham, new viewer. I'm gonna give a big thank you to him or her. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna give a thank you to you because the comment of the day today is. Wait a minute. Before I read this comment of the day, my take on it. Let me put this in context. So life's tough. We do, by the way, have to delete some negative stuff. We do this as a means to talk, to have fun. And yeah, some people are going to smash their rackets, hypothetically speaking. I understand that. But I think we came across a comment the other day where someone wanted to punch you in the face. Someone was like,
to laugh,
so I mean, you know, at first I'm like, geez, you know, someone wants to punch a female in the face. I'm like, isn't that what? I had to think about it for a minute. I had to tell myself, wait a minute. I mean, this is supposed to be objective, yes, but yet there's junior tennis players that follow this, not including my own 5 children, who 3 of which are coming back in town tomorrow, so we're having to gear up for that. But I don't think that's what we're here for, is to have someone say, I wish I could punch your wife in the face. So I think like that type of stuff kind of takes us away from what we want to do, but at the same time we have to say, hey, I mean, come on. I mean, this is not really even worth even responding to. You know what I mean? So we do see stuff and we do delete it, but at the same time, it's nice to hear someone with a comment such as the one that Isham made. So I'm going to read that. Can I read that?
Sure.
Or you read that?
Watching you guys make me a feeling of welcoming you. I'm your Djokovic fan and your fans as well. I like the way you discuss topics. You see much more focus on intellectual and emotional aspects of the game with a smart and sweet manner. Big up to the kids and your love.
So man, look! Thank you for that one. Again, for me, as humble as I can state, thank you. And the only reason why I say that is in this world in which we live, and I say it almost every other video or every 3 videos, that it's a really tough grind. Everybody's fighting a tough battle. Be kind. There's really no need to tell someone they want to punch someone in the face, or shoot out these words that we wouldn't want our kids to read. I mean, we accept that, but it seems like that becomes the norm, and whereas I think pushing forward in humanity, whether it's on a tennis scale or on a global scale, if we can find time to tell someone thank you, I think that makes the world a better place. So thank you for that, Isham. That was very nice of you, and we'll continue to try to make you feel welcome. Thank you for that. All right. Thank you. All right. Next comment came in from Ife Kona. Ife Kona is a long time and a viewer, and we have now found out that he is a competitive tennis player.
Ooh, maybe you'll come down to Alabama. Who knows?
All right, so Ife Kona lets us know that he likes to compete as a tennis player, and had asked us to put a video out of us playing. Ife, no, you have great news for yourself, because again, I'm very naive, very, let's just say, inexperienced on how to create titles and how to direct people to certain videos that we have done over the years, especially here even recently. But there are a plethora of videos of Carla and I hitting, Carla and I instructing, Carla and I stringing tennis rackets, Carla getting busted dancing in the kitchen. I'm just kidding, but not really. But because I would literally just film them or have Carla film, and I would just type something as a title and hit start, and it ended up 800 and some odd videos of just a big cluster. I mean, I'm admitting defeat on this one, right? I mean, I'm admitting defeat.
Yeah, half of the time I would tell you, why are you putting this up?
Yeah, so I think I was pushing really too hard, and the envelope, unfortunately, was never even open, much less pushing the envelope itself. So I think 850 of the videos, or 820, are probably just garbage. So they're there, and we'll try to do better once we figure out a way to. We have 5 kids that we can have filmed. The younger 3, no way. They're not going to be able to pull it off. The 14-year-old is kind of all over the place still.
He makes his comments too.
And then the 16-year-old gets impatient. So we don't have really anybody to film from a really good perspective with an old phone us playing. But look, we experimented with this, and I think we did it 5 or 10 times. So check it out because it's there. All right. Anyway, so Furzy09 came in next, and Carla is going to read this comment. And I told myself, I said, wait. I said, however, he thanked us for giving himself a comment of the day before yesterday. No problem with that at all. If you go back and read Furzy09's comment on the previous set of videos, part 1 and 2, it's quite well done. But Carla's going to read Furzy09's comment from today, and he always hits really hard. He's a heavy hitter.
He said, thanks for the comment of the day. By the way, guessing in the times of Martina, Evert, or Graf Stella's eras, the women were more household names and marketed. They were making finals consistently, and they were more intrigued. This can't be done now. Like Ostapenko will perform 1 week, then flop for a year. Nobody is consistent. P.S. Ostapenko won Roland Garros, then this year lost round 1 in singles, round 1 doubles, round 1 mixed to add it. She got wooden spoon at Roland Garros after being a champ last year.
Yep.
He's so right about that. It is true. Unless Serena, before Serena left, from maternity leave to have a baby, yeah, we saw Wozniacki won the Australian. Then she flopped at the French Open, and who won the French Open finally? Halep. And she didn't make it really far at Wimbledon.
Well,
and then
Halep's lost in like the first or second round, didn't she?
Yeah, and then we had our Kerber at the Wimbledon champion. Serena's back, so we'll see who wins the US Open. But he's right. The reason why none of these women are household names is because they're not consistent. Steffi Graf was number 1 for a long time. She dominated tennis. And then Celis came in at 15, won her first French Open, or 16, and she was beating Steffi Graf until her unfortunate stabbing in the back.
Yeah, that was tough.
I mean, Martina, Navratilova, and Chris Evert were household names. They were always in finals. They dominated. I think Martina had 9 Wimbledons, something like that, and Chris Evert 7 French Opens. So they were household names. We all knew them. And these girls, they can't keep a consistent level of play. They can't.
Can I ask you a question? I'm not sure the answer to this. How old is Ostapenko right
19.
now? She's 19.
19, 20.
And how old is Serena now?
Serena is going to be 31, I think. Because her sister's close to my age. 31, 32. Maybe older. Actually, I think Serena's older.
So here's a deep thought moving forward.
They're 4 years apart. 36, 32.
Yeah. So here's my only thought right now moving forward. I think my brain, or what little brain that I have, is telling me that the next greatest thing in women's tennis could be Ostapenko.
I don't see that.
She could be.
I don't see it.
But she's at the right age to get there. But can she get there?
I don't see it. I just don't see it yet. I didn't see that.
I'm hoping. She's got the tenacity.
I mean, she's got more potential than any of the other younger girls. Yeah, I would agree with you on that one.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying she's any super great phenom. I'm just saying, based upon what we have.
She's strong and she hits the ball hard.
And she's feisty.
She's feisty, and that's what you need in tennis. She kind of reminds me of Celis a bit, doesn't
she? A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Except Celis had the one in.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Celis had two hands on both sides.
on both sides. But as far as the look and the way she runs, her style of play, it's almost the same.
I get it. All right. So anyway, Furzy09, great stuff as always, and well played yesterday with your comments, because you definitely deserve that down the line winner shot for comment of the day yesterday. So great job. Or it was the day before. I can't remember.
The last time we did the show. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway. Ife Kona came right back in and said one more comment, and I think it had something to do with marketing, or at least in my mind when she read it to me. So I've heard this comment before, and I have a note here about marketing. What's the comment?
I like the point Carla said regarding girls have to pay the same fee to go for tennis coaching as boys. Well said.
Read this one loud. I like this one.
Well said. Quick thought here. Parents who get their child tennis lessons, if they themselves were given a chance to choose to go for a men's final or women's final, they would choose to go to a men's final for various reasons. I may be wrong here, but I thought to share this point. I hope I got my point through. Fortunately or unfortunately, the society has come to that kind of thinking.
You want to start?
No, you can start. I didn't get that one quite.
Well, when I first read Ife Kona's comment here, I thought it was miswritten. I didn't quite get it, and I thought it was way off base. But then I said, wait a minute, I think I get it. So correct me if I'm wrong, Ife Kona. I think what I'm getting at, or what he was getting at, that is, if you are a parent and you have a child that plays, and you have the opportunity, now correct me if I'm wrong, I may be reading this way off base. If I'm right, I agree with you. If I'm a parent that has to choose about buying a ticket to go to a final of a Grand Slam, and I've got my children with me, which one do I want to take my children to? Would I rather buy a ticket to the women's final, or would I rather buy a ticket to the men's final? If that is indeed interpreted the correct way, Ife Kona, I may have misread your question, and correct me, because now I'm plagiarizing your awesome words. I thought that's how I understood it. If that is how I understood it, if I'm a parent, which I have 5 children, and I had to tell, hey guys, we're all going to a Grand Slam tomorrow to watch a final. Who you guys want to watch, the men or the women? Everybody's going to say the men.
Very true. I can't. Yeah, exactly.
Fact of the day.
I'd rather watch Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, whoever, Wawrinka, Potro, play the finals than Serena destroying somebody.
Okay, so with that said, I think that everyone would agree there.
Yes.
I don't think there should even be one nay on this table. Okay, does anybody oppose?
No,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
even see me most of the time. I want to see the men's play.
Yeah. So here's what I'm getting at though. Is it because of the big 3 and the marketing thereof, or is it because that there's absolutely no marketing thereof to the women's players, which forces them to go out and put on bikinis and take pictures on the beach riding on donkeys? I don't know.
To me, it's because I'll tell you, as a woman,
is it a little bit of both?
As a woman, me watching the other women player, it's hard to find an impressive girl. Honestly, it's hard for me to be captured by any of them. I mean, Serena captures me. I like watching Kerber. I don't enjoy watching Pliskova.
I like Pliskova though.
Stevens,
Carolina.
sometimes.
I like Carolina
He,
Pliskova.
sometimes. You have Coco Vandeweghe. I hate watching her. I mean, there's just not a lot of players that have that personality. They just all look the same sometimes. You got all the Ovas that look the same sometimes. It's hard to tell them with their blonde braids. I mean, it really is. Sometimes you're like, who is that? Which one?
Yeah, so I'm going to once again reiterate the fact that if at some point in time there could be a trial run of simply, and look, I'm not pro one way or pro way the other of all this stuff, but all I want to say, if we're going to come up with such a hypothesis, if we're going to come up and automatically assume that that's the way it is, okay, can we at least spend maybe 24 months or 2 calendar years of Grand Slams, ATP 1000s, ATP 500s, and whatever scattering of the other 250s and challengers and so forth? If we could instead take the men's out or give them only 20% coverage and give the women 80% coverage. I'm not saying this, but until we could take their livelihoods away, I think can't we somehow equal out the playing field with how much exposure they get? Because I promise you, if you follow the game of tennis, if you follow it from the time you wake up and the time that you go to bed, and I understand there's only a select few of us in the world, but I think there's millions of them. If you follow it, then you have your own villains, and you have your own Nadals, and you have your own Federers, and you have your own Murray's wrapped into the women's game too, but no one really gets the flavor for that unless they're knee deep in it on a daily basis. And I personally, I strongly feel that if they even got a iota, a slight smidgen of coverage on the global stage, that everyone would benefit more from the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but here's the other problem.
Or here's an example.
Well, here's the other problem, Justin. That back in the days, the reason we watch more women's tennis is that they were different. You had Graf that sliced her backhand. She had a powerful forehand. She put the balls away in a few points. You had Sabatini with the one-hand backhand that massaged the ball. You had Salas that had a two-handed backhand.
Navratilova served volley.
Now, you had even Mary Jo Fernandez, who had more finesse. You had Arantxa Sanchez that was a grinder. You know, it was just different. They were all different type of players. Just like when Henin played. When Henin played, Clijsters played, Serena played. All of it was fun to watch. Even Hingis, because she was different.
So now you just kind of find yourself a little bit.
All these players look the same. I'm sorry, they all play the same.
All right, so anyway, pushing forward, great comment. We're going to run out of time again and go 3 shows. We've never done that. I told you this would be a big one. It's been a passionate day, even putting this down. A quick shout out to someone in Trinidad and Tobago. I always like to mention anyone that jumps on board for any reason. This individual is Weather Freak Channel 1. Love the name, love it, because I'm a weather freak too. Again, in history, there's been some hurricanes here, some tropical storms here, some pretty intense thunderstorms that we've done and kind of filmed it and kind of jumped out in the rain and flooded water and kind of swam in it per se. And he saw some of those. And anyway, so shout out to you. Thanks for watching. And next time we get a storm here, bro, we're going to send it to you in Trinidad and Tobago, all right? Let's go. Hope you're good down there. Be safe, all right? Another one, Steve Clevenger. I think he's in Iowa. He's another weather fan. So Steve had come in and said, hey, another great tennis deal, and he's not really even a tennis player. So again, thank you, Steve, for always thanking us. And again, just like the gentleman in Trinidad and Tobago, next storm, you guys will have a front row seat, right? You want to help me?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So she'll film as usual. She'll film as
that
usual.
Means I'm gonna get wet.
All right, so look, this ends viewer comments. Thank everybody for the comments. There's a lot of comments within those comments. Check out the previous 2 videos for those. And we're gonna do a brief rundown, initial rundown of some tennis players' names that I jotted down. She doesn't know this is coming. I'm throwing this out there. I'm checking the camera. I have about 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. We got to start talking about the U.S. Open at some point. I understand that there's no hardcourt tournaments outside of Atlanta and Nanjing, China going on, but we need to start talking about who has a chance in this tournament, or is it going to continue to be Serena and then the big 3 men? So, is it going to be?
You might as well include Serena.
Is it going to be this year's U.S. Open Serena and either Nadal, Federer, or Djokovic? And don't even tell me Murray. Wawrinka has a better chance than Murray. Let's be real. So I'm gonna run down some names. I'm gonna run down these names really quickly. And the trivia question is, within all these names that I jotted down, like just off the top of my head, I want comments from everyone of 5 of the players outside of the big ones that can do well this year. You ready? Here we go. Obviously the big 3: Federer, Nadal, Murray. All right, and obviously Serena. Okay,
Federer, Nadal, Murray. You mean Djokovic?
Yeah. Sorry. Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. I did not mean to disrespect any of those 3 with the Murray toss in. My bad. All right, Wawrinka's girlfriend Vekic, Kerber, Ostapenko, Serena, Del Potro, Isner, Anderson, Zverev, the young one, even Zverev, the older one, but I think he's too busy flying airplanes right now. Borna Coric, I like a lot. Venus, Muguruza, Lazicki, Stosur, Dimitrov, Sangha, Chung, the South Korean, Chinese players, Nara, Xi Zhang, and a multitude of other ones. Sibylkova. Julian Benneteau playing his last major ever, from what I understand. I think that is the case. Good job, Julian. Madison Keys, Osaka, Feliciano Lopez, Cilic, Kyrgios, Shapovalov, your boy, Raonic, oh no, Tsitsipas, who I like, but I think he's still weak. Sharapova, Azarenka, she's still a little too skinny for me.
She didn't even make the one. They didn't give her the wild card. She might have to
qualify.
Yeah.
All right, Wozniacki, Sloane Stephens. So that's why I stopped writing names. Quick rundown. Give me 5 players that you think have a chance to go deep to make semifinals or maybe even a final.
Del Potro,
with the exception of Nadal, with the exception of Djokovic, with the exception of Federer, and with the exception of Serena. Go quickly.
Del Potro, Wawrinka, Kerber.
It's a conundrum.
It is.
All right.
I don't know.
All right. So
Thiem, I might choose Thiem because
okay.
I think he has a great one-handed backhand. Does he have one-handed backhand? Yes, he does.
Yeah. He kind of jumps at it and makes it inconsistent. So look, I mean Venus, but then again, that's kind of like Serena. So. Dimitrov, I squandered him on my last fantasy team. Lazicki, well, she's getting older.
No, I
and
don't
she's.
think so.
Yeah, I mean Halep, Kyrgios, oh, he's mentally whack. Cilic, okay, could say Cilic, but look, the list is immense. Let's start talking about it. Who has a chance? The draws are obviously not near coming out, but we can still focus on not necessarily the order and how far they will get based upon seeding or random draw, but who has a chance outside of those big ones?
I think Osaka will do fine with hardcourt, being that it's hardcourt.
Yeah, go Osaka. Look, all right, so we're running out of time for part 2, and this is getting long. So quick topic. Today, we had the opportunity, or alas, the opportunity, maybe opportunity is not even the right word. We saw a basketball court that looked really good, that was being resurfaced completely with, multi-$1,000 machines. Okay. On the other side of the cliff is a bunch of tennis courts that are dilapidated, and no one even thinks about touching them.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I had a hiccup. All right, so tell me that, or help me understand this type of thing. And I think we did a video yesterday that discussed the high amount of practice daily that it takes to do tennis. Not saying that any other sport doesn't involve it, but why do we have a beautiful already arena of basketball? No offense to basketball, but it was a beautiful court
Because
anyway.
that sport makes more money. The tickets are higher. The people pay the price. Therefore, they can afford to do that.
All right.
Simple.
So it's just something that we saw that we saw today, and I felt like it might be worth a show in of itself, and maybe going out in the field and doing some research, actually putting the phone in someone's face and saying, why are we redoing basketball courts? Not that there's a problem with basketball at all, respectfully.
They do marketing a lot better.
Do you see this court over here? There's like no one can even go on it. It's dangerous. Why wouldn't you ask for that money when that court looks beautiful in the first place? All right, so the old saying of time and tide waits for no man is one that I like, because whether the sea has high tide or low tide, or the moon's out or not, which causes some of this, and whether the 24-hour day stops for you or not, don't bother thinking it does, because it doesn't. It continues. So the U.S. Open is approaching. Let's get the competition going for the U.S. Open. Who we think is going to win? Who can choose the best teams? Who has the biggest potential to go deep? Because before we know it, the U.S. Open is going to start. I think we have 4 big tournaments coming up next week: Montreal, Toronto, and I think 2 more. So we're going to be getting into results soon. But let's start tossing around names. So am I missing anything? I mean.
No, I think you got everything.
Yeah, so I have here the draws are nearly out. Will it be anyone this year at the U.S. Open besides the big 3 and Serena? I guess time will tell. This is one parting comment. And I forget who mentioned this. I wrote this in at the end. When all these players are gone, when Serena's gone, when Federer's gone, when Nadal's gone, Djokovic is gone, when they're all retired, where does the game go? Where does it go?
I think, what was her name? Kima? She's the one that said it. I think she's right. Thiem will take over Nadal. He's made it to 2 finals at the French Open.
Yeah, so
I think he'll do fine with clay. He'll probably dominate on that.
All right, we've got about 20 seconds. Where does the game go after Serena's gone? After Nadal, Federer, Djokovic? When they're gone, do we have someone that comes in and wins 20 majors? Or are we a long time, as someone said a long time
Well, maybe
ago?
my daughter will be there.
All right, we got a part. Hey, thank you very much for the show. Click a like below, subscribe below, share the video. It's important. In the meantime, Carla always says,
Adios.
See ya.